Good morning, guys. Gary here with Lost in the Ozarks. We're down here on the Richland Creek Wilderness here with my friend Dave. He brought us down here and we're gonna walk down here and see if we can find Hamilton Falls. Now, we've been down here before. We came, did this trail and did a loop to Twin Falls and Richland Falls, but we didn't get to make it over to Hamilton Falls, so we're going back this time to check out Hamilton Falls. So I'm going to give you some of the highlights of the hike here. We're in early January. I think this is January the 11th, and it's a little chilly. It's in the 30s, low 30s this morning, but it's supposed to warm up in the 50s, so hopefully soon we can shed these heavy jackets and gloves and everything. But that's a cool old tree. This hike is probably a couple of miles down, a couple of miles back. Not too bad. 400 or 500 feet of elevation change. So we'll have more information on that though when I pull the GPS track off when I get back to the house. And I'll take some pictures today. Obviously the waterfall and any other, you know, scenic things that we come across. So y'all stay tuned and watch this hike down to Hamilton Falls in the Richland Creek Wilderness and in the Ozark National Forest. Okay, so we're maybe a quarter mile or so down the trail here. We're still up on the bench, and you really can't feel the wind up here, but you can hear it whistling down through the trees down in the valley. Well, one thing about these trips is when you do them in the winter and the leaves are off, you can see a lot more of the scenery. You see the surrounding hills and stuff that you probably wouldn't see if all the leaves were on the trees. And kind of noticed that the trail's a lot easier to follow than what I remember from the last trip. So really not a lot of sights yet. We're just walking through the woods here. And I don't think I got in shape during the fall because I'm already breathing hard. We hadn't done much climbing at all. This is definitely some beautiful country back here. Alright, so I'll come back when we get down into some more scenery, but you can see here we're going to be going down into that, so there's going to be some climbing involved pretty soon. Get back up here on the trail. So y'all stay tuned and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so we're starting downhill now. Still following the old road trace. We're getting down off the bench. This is kind of where the road starts going downhill. Alright, so we're heading downhill now off the bench. If I remember correctly, this kind of goes down and it flattens out, and then the road drops off the bench again. Now, last time we did this, like I say, we were going to Twin and Richland Falls, and we got to see the waterfall we're going to today, but we didn't actually get over to it, so that's why we're going back over there today, so we can actually go to that waterfall. And it's like 12 feet. It's not a huge waterfall, but okay, it was pretty. Yeah, and we went this way. A lot more trees down this time than I remember last time. Make sure I take a little extra time crossing those trees, because that would be funny for the video, but it'd be just a little embarrassing for me to fall and bust myself while I'm shooting the video. If I remember correctly, over here in this draw is where the creek runs that we'll have to get off the trail and cross that creek, get across on the other side, so when we get down close to the creek that the waterfall's on, we don't end up having to backtrack. Seems like there's a lot more down trees this way this time. Okay, so we looked at the GPS just to make sure. And I can see, looks like an old road trace here, but it's kind of starting to grow up, but you can see portions of the trail periodically. So I believe we are doing it. Yeah, it looks like people have been going around these trees here, so it's just on this downhill slope, there's a lot more leaves piled up, and it's not so easy to see the trail, but it comes out like right here every once in a while. You can see where these leaves are pretty deep. That's kind of hiding the trail, and that's one of the problems with late fall, early winter hiking, is with all the leaves down. Sometimes they can cover the trail up. If there hadn't been a lot of traffic, you can lose the trail quite easily. But if you get off the trail, that's why we always at least mark your destination in the GPS. That way, if you do get off the trail, you kind of got a pointer to get you back that direction, and you can kind of work your way back. So, whew. This heavy jacket, I'm getting warm. Be shedding this thing for too long. Alright, so basically we're just walking through the woods heading downhill, so I'm gonna stop the video again until we run across something scenic. Y'all stay with us. Alright, so we've pretty much lost the trail at this point, so we've got it marked on the GPS though, so we know there's a knob over here to our right, and we've got to get down kind of to the left of it, so we're kind of bushwhacking down this hill. So the trail just more or less disappeared, the old road trace. You couldn't really tell where it was anymore. So that's the good thing about marking your destination on the GPS, because that way you at least know which way to go. We can kind of head down this hill here, find a clear spot. We've got the position of the Jeep marked on the GPS, so you can always get back there from where we end up. Oh, if you lose the trail, you know where you're going. Just bushwhack it onto it. This is going to be fun coming up out of here. I'll go a little bit this way and downhill, so it's not just a straight downhill climb. It's getting a little steep. And there's a gully. Oop. Trying to find a clear way through here. I do remember when we came down here to Twin and Richland Falls. Of course, it's another 500 feet of elevation change down to down to Twin Falls, so it's not going to be bad. But I do remember being so happy when we finally got up and we could see the truck. because my legs had about had it. So I'm gonna put the camera up here. See if we can make our way around this gully here. Get down over the, what's the name of this waterfall again? What's the name of this waterfall again? Hamilton Falls. I don't know why I had Henderson on the brain. Hamilton Falls. Alright, so that looks like the knob there. I remember a creek us crossing back and forth when we were down in here, so. We're gonna look at the GPS again, make sure we haven't gotten off track and kind of go from there. So I'm gonna shut the camera down for a minute. Y'all stay tuned. Okay, so we stopped, checked the GPS. The GPS is showing it pretty much straight in front of us. With all this stuff down, now we're gonna see if I can walk a straight line without tripping and giving y'all some comedy. This is the problem with walking a straight line in the woods, is you fool around and get all this stuff down in front of you, and next thing you know, you're supposed to be walking south and you're walking north. I wouldn't want to do this in the summertime. This is quite thick in here. One thing's for sure in this stuff, going straight to the destination is not an option. But that's kind of half the fun when you find it. It just means you have to stop more often if there's not a trail, to make sure you're not getting off trail as you meander back and forth around these trees and blowdowns and all that stuff. So let me stop here a little bit and make sure we're going the right direction. But looks like maybe this thicket gets a little bit thinner over here. But that sure wasn't fun, especially with a backpack on your back. Having to stoop over and go under stuff, and over logs. All right, we're gonna stop and check the GPS again with this drawing. We don't want to get on the wrong side, so hold tight. We'll be right back. All right, so we stopped and checked the GPS, and looks like we can cross this little draw here and head right over to the waterfall. Been a little bit of a bushwhack. And, quite a bit downhill. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge getting out, but the GPS shows we are really close to the waterfall. Right over this rise, we should start dropping down to the creek. Looks like the late ice storm we had last year took down a lot of treetops. Those breaks look to be pretty old. And here's another big bunch of blowdowns. See if we can get around that without having to go through it. We'll go over here and then head back to the right between these two blowdowns. Sounds like it. Right through there. Is that what the GPS says? Sounds like I can hear it though. Okay. That must be the creek over there that we can hear. Because I can definitely hear water running. But the GPS says it's back over here to our right a little bit. Dave's got the coordinates in his GPS. Aha! Now I remember. This is the creek we have to be on the other side of. Because once you get down below us there, the sides get steep. And that's why we couldn't get to it last time. I remember we came up on this. We followed it downstream. There's a little... The road trace? Huh. It could be. But yeah, this is the creek that we had to cross down there. There's not much water running in it today. There was a little more last time we were here, and there was a small waterfall that I got a picture of. But the yeah, looks like a trail here now. But yeah, it was just up from there. We could just see one side of it up in the creek, but we couldn't get there because we would have had to backtrack up here to cross the creek. So this time we're on the right side of the creek, so we're on this old road trace.
Okay,
and
this is right here. Okay, so this deep. So this is where we're gonna
leave the road trace and head toward the creek, right?
Yeah, now let me go forward.
Because the waterfall should be right over there, not far.
Yep, it's actually right down there. We leave the trail here, it looks like.
Yeah, and we can follow that down, and then we can go right back up to it.
I think
Should be
right
able
here.
to.
I mean, I think it's right across this ravine after we get down.
Alright, so we're going to head over here, and this is pretty thick, so I'm going to put the camera down as I go through this. It's not really anything scenic for you guys to see. Once we get over to the waterfall, which shouldn't be 100 yards or so over here, maybe a little more, but it shouldn't be long. We'll be at the waterfall, and I'll pick the video back up. So y'all hang with me. All right, so we should be getting close here. That's this gully here, but I can definitely hear water running. We should be able to head right down here and get over to the waterfall. It's a little bit steep, so I'm gonna zigzag this. Oh, big old boulder down here. Yeah, this looks like a road trace right there. Around this boulder. We should be getting. We're almost down to the creek level, so we should be able to. Yep. And that's how you bust your rear end. Right, I hear it down here. And it looks kind of like a trail. Turkey-tail mushrooms on the side of the tree. Ah, there it is. quite the rock garden here. I'll go the way around over here. Yeah. Still frost in this part of where the sun hadn't got to yet. And there's supposed to be a break in the bluff down here, but you can get down below it. But we're coming up to the top of it here. Guys, so this is Hamilton Falls, and then you follow the creek on down, you run into Twin Falls, and then there's kind of a volunteer trail around there, and you get to Richland Creek Falls. So if you wanted to, you could do 3 waterfalls in one day. Come down here to Hamilton, and then go check out the other 2. It's not a really tall waterfall, but it's pretty. Got a pretty green pool under it. Oh, here we go. Wow, that's gorgeous. Plenty of water running. That's beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna head down to the creek here. You can see Dave down there. Tell you how far we gotta go down. There's a tree here. There's a little water under there. Makes these rocks a little slick. Get down here close to these creeks and these rocks can get slick. So take your time. You're not in any hurry. You sure don't want to fall and break something back here. That would not be good. There it is for down below. Go out here and see if I can get a long exposure shot in a second, but we have made it to Hamilton Falls. See what the waterfall looks like. And this is the creek that runs on down and it runs into the main creek. I forget the name of the creek that Twin Falls is on, but Twin Falls is just, it's quite a little jaunt on down there. Matter of fact, the last time we went up on that ridge to the left and followed that around and then dropped down to Twin Falls. So it was quite a climb out of there. We were more or less, the rocks were in front of us and we were on all fours as we were going up those hills some of the places. So like I say, this is Gary from Lost in the Ozarks. We appreciate you coming on all our adventures with us like this one, and we look forward to taking another one with you soon. And you know, leave us a comment, like the video if you enjoyed the video. It helps us with the algorithm, it helps us get this out to more people. So we appreciate everybody, and we'll give you just one good last look at the waterfall here before I start taking photos. And as always, thanks for watching.